When you hear the word midlife, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Society often labels this as midlife crisis.
Exactly. And today, we are going to completely flip that script.
Welcome back to Midlife Unfiltered. I'm Jenny from Midlife Clover Community, and this is Alice from Prime Midlife. Today, we are tackling the big questions. What actually is midlife? Because here's the thing, most of us have absorbed a definition of midlife that was written decades ago, and it is not just outdated, it is actively harmful.
Exactly. So, we are going to break it down, rebuild it, and talk about what midlife can actually look like when you stop letting other people define it for you. And I think this matters because so many of us are walking around carrying this narrative that midlife is the beginning of decline, and that shapes how we see ourselves and the choices we make.
Let's start with what we've been told midlife is. The traditional definition says midlife is somewhere between 40 and 65. It has been framed as this decline phase. You peak professionally, physically, and now you're on the downslope. The imagery is always the same. Someone staring peacefully out of the window, having a crisis, trying to recapture their youth, is positioned as loss. Loss of youth, loss of vitality, loss of relevance.
And if you are a woman, add in menopause panic, invisibility, being written off. The whole narrative is your best years are behind you. Now you coast into retirement and fade away, which is crazy when you think about it, because that definition was created when life expectancy was 70, and you're hitting midlife now, you potentially still have 40, 50 years ahead of you, half your adult life. This isn't the end of anything.
Right. And what even more absurd is that midlife today looks like nothing what our parents experienced. We are healthier, we have more options, technology has changed, and everything about how we work, we connect, yet we are still using this Asian framework, and that doesn't fit our reality at all.
Sure. So, what does midlife actually look like today? It's complex. And I think that is the first honest thing we need to say. You might be at the absolute peak of your career, most capable you have ever been, most experienced, most financially stable, and simultaneously asking yourself, is this really what I want to do for the next 20 years? You are achieved the things you thought you wanted, the title, the income, the house, maybe the family. And here's this feeling something is missing or something's shifted.
And then there's the physical piece, which is real. Your body is changing. Your energy might be different. Your hormones are doing things. Your metabolism has option. Your relationships are shifting too. Your parents are aging and might need you. Your kids are living or they are not living. You are wondering when they will. Your friendship might be involved.
And in the middle of all these external changes, there is the internal question that will go away. Who am I now? And apart from all these roles that I've been playing, what do I actually want? You see, so there's nobody actually tell you about. This is not a crisis. This is awakening. It's your psyche saying we need to update our operating system.
So let's redefine midlife. What it is really. I think midlife is not the middle of our life counting down to the end. It's the beginning of the most intentional phase we will ever live. It's when we finally have enough experience to know what matters and enough courage to stop doing what doesn't. We stop performing for other people approval and start choosing based on what our own values.
And I love that. So midline is when you trip pleasing for authenticity. So it's when you have the wisdom to see clearly, the resources to make real changes, and the urgency to stop waiting for permission. So midlife isn't your landing. It should be your launch pad. And I truly believe that once we shift our mindset and perspective, everything changes.
Yes, because you're suddenly not trying to recapture your 20s or 30s. You're building something entirely new from a place of real self knowledge. And that's so much more powerful than anything you could have created when you were younger and still figuring yourself out.
That is also come with the bigger questions. So how do we want to live in midlife? And here's what I think. First, let's start with intention, not on autopilot, not just drifting through the next 20 years doing what we always done because it's familiar. Actually, it's about choosing, being deliberately about where we put our energy, our time, our attention.
With honesty too, being real about what actually working and what isn't. And that requires courage because honesty mean admitting things need to change. It might mean having uncomfortable conversation, making difficult decision, disappointing people who expect you to still stay the same. But without that honesty, you're just managing our life instead of living it.
And of course, the community come in because this is not a solo journey. You need people who get it, who are asking the same questions, who won't judge you for wanting something different. The isolation of midlife is real when everyone around you is pretending everything is fine and you are the only one questioning.
And with hope. Because the best version of you isn't your past. It's being created right now in midlife. You have everything you need, the wisdom, the resources, the clarity about what matters. You just need to give yourself the permission to use it.
Yes, that is very true. I think about the people that I work with. Those are, very accomplished professionals, high achievers by any external measure. But they actually will say this to me. I have built this successful career, but I don't recognize myself anymore. I have done everything right. Why do I feel so stuck? And that is beautiful because once actually we give ourselves permission to ask this question honestly, everything starts to shift. We will start to making different choices. And actually, you know what? Start with a small loved one first. And we will start living in our alignment with who we actually are now, not who we were at 25.
I see the same thing. The people I work with are often in the space of outward success, but internal question. And what happens when they start being honest about it is remarkable. They might change career or restructure their work or finally pursue something they have been putting off for decades. And that's when midlife becoming more exciting instead of just scary because you realize you're not losing anything, you're gaining clarity and freedom.
Absolutely. So if you are watching this and you are in your midlife feeling all of this, just remember you are not lost, you are not broken, and you're definitely not having a crisis. In fact, you are right on time. This is exactly what midlife is supposed to feel like when you are paying attention.
And this is channel Midlife Unfiltered. This is where we explore what midlife can actually be. Real conversations, no sanitized versions, no pretending. It's all figured out. It is rational with you. Subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment and tell us what midlife looks like for you. Share this with someone needs to hear it. Because the more we talk about this, honestly, the more we change the narrative for everyone.